They claim that it does damage to the fish. It does damage to the bullhead trout. Jet boats do damage too. That's next. Because when a jet boat screams up the river, causes a wave and it kicks up dirt that's on the side, it's actually not in the river. It's just some crazy ways they make rules, and I don't think it's really the rule or the science that does it. I think it's an ideology, and when you have a certain belief, you will make rules to match that belief. One of them I got this last week, one of the reasons they're closing the salmon river is there's too much mercury in it. The mercury in it is natural, it comes out of the ground up the river. There's not too much mercury in it, it's the way it is. In fact, the dredgers take mercury out if they find it. Naturally occurring, can't change that. The feds and their lawmaking and their law enforcing, they have very poor communication with the people of, in my case, Idaho County. In fact, they don't communicate with them because they're not there. They're behind locked doors. Or they're in their trucks driving by, and they don't communicate. They don't say what's going on. They just enforce these rules, and they have a book of rules that you didn't make, I don't make. I don't even know what they are. And that includes not just the EPA. When I ask for information from the EPA, they send me a whole boatload of stuff telling me why they have the authority to come into my county and inspect and fine the dredgers. And so I send them a copy of my book, the ones that you wrote, and tell them what I can do if I catch them in my county. Now, I knew I was safe in saying that. I knew it was behind me. And I talked to the trooper in the back just in case. I'm going to throw this out, and then I'll be done. Their rules and regulations are not acceptable to, I would say, the majority of people, especially in Idaho County. You may have some bad ideas about Idaho County, but it's awesome. 8,503 square miles of absolute beauty. Tons and tons of water running everywhere. But this is what I believe. When I say they, in this case, I'm talking about the EPA. They want us out of the river because the reasons they use to get us out of the river are not valid. They want us out of the river, so it doesn't matter the excuse. They want us out of the river. And like I said earlier, I think the jet boats are next, and if the fishermen don't quit putting lead in there, the fishermen will be next. They want to control the folks. They want to control their access to the river. And if you don't think that's happening now, it's because you're not ever out on the river. They do control access. This is a good example. It's like, how do you fill a bucket if all you have is a drip? Well, you leave it under the faucet long enough, and that one drip at a time will fill the bucket. And they do one drip at a time. In law enforcement, in regulations, they change the regulation on a monthly, yearly, whatever. Regulation's not the same this year as it was last year. They change it. Who changed it? Somebody. It's either a new guy that came in and said, hey, we can change it and keep them out. So I guess their wording to us in a very quiet, simple, hushed way is to stay out of the river. It's also stay out of the forest. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but the regulations to stay out of the forest, they close roads. Why do they close roads? To keep you safe. Keep the trees safe, keep the animals safe, keep the side of the hill safe. And I look up in the mountains and tell them, you've got to be kidding. That doesn't mean we don't need regulation. We do. We all need regulation. You need regulation at home. You have regulations for your kids, and we have regulations for the people, so we behave. But most people do behave. And I don't like, and I know the folks of Idaho County don't like being treated like ignorant, that they're not going to behave. Sheriff's Department takes care of those that do misbehave. There's an elite few, and I shouldn't say environmentalists because I don't call them elite, but there's a few, and they have a lot of money, and they want to control, as a quote, the ignorant masses. And if you really look at it, there are a lot of people that really don't know what's going on. And why don't they? Because it's tough to know what's going on. I mean, you guys write the Idaho Code, and I guarantee you don't know what's in it. I think I've heard that before. It's tough. And the Forest Service, they have their own book, and I don't even know what's in it. Every time I go to the forest, I know I'm doing something wrong. And if you read the book, you'll find out you are. Like, can you cut wood out of a slash pile? Yes, you can. But you can also get a ticket for it, so it just depends. It's very insulting and demeaning when the federal lawmakers, rule makers, regulation makers make these rules and regulations, and we have to abide by them. We don't even know what for, given some, I don't know what you would call it. I just say reason. It's given a reason. If you believe it, most people try to believe. We trust. I was raised to trust. Through school, you're raised to trust and believe what you're taught. I guess the problem is I went to Cal Poly, and they're teaching something different over at Berkeley. It's kind of becoming not the system that I was raised under. It's not the governing system that I think that our constitutional republic allows us to have. You don't want me making rules for you, because if you do, then I'm going to make the rules from where I stand politically and every other way. And if you don't believe in what I believe in and I make rules against you, you want to have some say. Call the government. I have his number right here. Call the EPA. Who are you going to talk to? You're going to talk to somebody that has no clue what you're talking about, unless it affects them directly. These situations, in my opinion, are escalating, and they are intensifying. And it's my job to represent the people, and I hope that you will take what I've said and what the other gentlemen have said and utilize it in your thinking when you make your decisions regarding such things as water, forest, and the citizens, because that's who we represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming.